Let me begin by asking you to help me celebrate the people who made this possible. Because I got to tell you, I go to a lot of events around the country, and this is a first-rate, first-class event. So would you please help me congratulate John Hope Bryant and the team. So John called and asked me if I would come and do what I believe God put me on this earth to do. In fact, if I can brag for a moment, it was Oprah Winfrey who said to me, when I see you on television, I realize you are doing exactly what God put you on this earth to do. I host a segment on Monday mornings on CBS Mornings called Beg Knows America, where we find the heart, thank you, where we find the heart in every story. And in order to set the stage for the people I want you to meet, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. I started in television journalism about 25 years ago, and I was the disaster guy. I have knocked on more doors of mothers whose kids have been killed in a school shooting than I can remember. I have walked across the slabs of homes that have been blown away from tornadoes and hurricanes than I can count. But there was one disaster in the great place of Puerto Rico that changed my life, changed my career, and changed what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. When Hurricane Maria ravaged the island of Puerto Rico on September 20th, 2017, I was a guy who knew very little about the island, who had been sent there to cover what I thought was going to be a 5-day assignment, and then I'd go back home to New York. And about 3 months later, my life had changed because of the way the people of Puerto Rico had accepted the work that I had done. But I left the great island with a struggle, and the struggle was I was no longer happy standing behind the line. In journalism, you may know, we're not allowed to cross that line and impact change or help. It is our job to stand back, be witness to, and tell all of you what happens. But when I left Puerto Rico, what I said was, what I want to do with the rest of my life is walk across that line and actually help affect change for good. And so I went to the bosses at CBS News and I said, I've come with a proposal that you can't say yes to, so I hope you'll love me enough to let me go. Now, mind you, I was the lead national correspondent. I was at the top of the totem pole. And to the credit of the woman who ran the place at the time, she said, this is an experiment that you and I are going to do together, and here was my request. Love me enough to let me start a company on the outside where I can celebrate good stories about everyday people doing extraordinary things. And I can actually work to impact and cause change. And so I stepped back from my role and became a contributor. I have the segment on Monday mornings, and I have now founded Do Good, which is a media company launching in January that will have social media channels, a newsletter, a podcast called The Person Who Believed in Me. And we will have live events just like this, and so I am so delighted to be here with you today. I brought you two fan favorites from the Atlanta backyard. Not so long ago, a woman named Maria Mendoza went to the graduation for her daughter Daisy, and after graduation, she drove through the Burger King drive-thru. And as she looked through the window, she saw a young man working on the fries in the back, and she thought, wait a minute, he's wearing the cap and gown, or parts of it, from the graduation I just left. What's he doing making the fries at the Burger King? All the kids are out partying. Well, what happened was, one of the graduates named Michael Baker had left the graduation, gone home, and wanted to get dinner for him and his grandmother and his mother, and he wanted to use his Burger King discount because Michael Baker was and still is a manager at the Burger King in the Atlanta area. And so he went to the restaurant to pick up dinner, and he noticed how busy they were. And while the kids were partying, Michael jumped behind the counter and said, let me help. And so there's Maria in the car thinking, what kid does this? and she zeroes in on her phone, records a video, and posts it on social media saying, hey, would you help me celebrate this young man? And $230,000 later, good people from everywhere stepped up to help Michael Baker pay to go to college. And instead of being here to talk to you about doing good and end it at that, I wanted to introduce you to Maria and Michael so we could talk to them about doing good. Would you please help me welcome Maria Mendoza and Michael Baker? Have a seat. Woo! So, Maria, when I first heard what you were able to do for him, it brought, like you, tears to my eyes. And when I heard about what you did, I said, who does that? And that's often how I find the stories that I love to tell. So I want to back up. Graduation has just happened. You're in the drive-thru. Take me to that moment.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for having us here. We feel very honored. Thank you so much. They've treated us great. Anyways, that night, my daughter had graduated from Mill Creek High School in, I believe it's Tequila or Beaufort area. And I was like, you know what, I'm craving a Whopper, because it was really late. And so we decided to go through the drive-thru, and that's when I saw him. He was so happy with AirPods and singing and doing fries, and I was like, I had to do a double take, because I was like, wait. And I told my husband, do you see him? He's like, what? I'm like, he just graduated, and he's working, and he's smiling. And I decided to take a quick video without him seeing me, because I didn't know how he was going to react by me grabbing my phone and recording him.
But I want the audience to understand that the reason you emphasize the fact that he was smiling
Yes.
is because you saw something of yourself in him.
Yes.
Would you tell them what that is?
Yeah, so when I was younger, we grew up, I grew up with a single mom, and she used to work in the fields and stuff. And so we missed out on a lot of stuff because we had to go work. And, behind my smile, there was a need. And a lot of people didn't know about that. And when I saw him smiling, working, I'm like, who smiles and works? So I felt like there was a need behind his smile as well. And I saw that in me as well. It brought me back to my childhood.
Michael, you had gone, you wanted the discount, which, is it a good discount?
Yes.
What do they give you?
It's free.
It's free. Oh, okay. All right. That's a good discount. That's a good discount. All right. So you show up at the Burger King.
Yes.
They were busy.
Yes, sir.
Why did you jump in? You're the manager. You ain't got to do that. You could have called somebody else in.
Honestly, because it was like I've been working since I was 16 in fast food, so I know how it feels to be busy and being by myself working. So I was just like, I ain't doing nothing. I'm about to go home and go to sleep anyway. So where I need me at? What I need to do?
You weren't gonna go out, party, celebrate?
I was gonna go home, go to sleep.
Go home and go to sleep.
He was tired.
All right. High school's exhausting. I get it. All right.
Yes.
So you're behind. You're making the fries. You do that. You finish the night. You close the shift. You go home. You post on social media. How quickly after that?
Well, I go home, I post it on social, put it next to my table, go to sleep and wake up with hundreds of thousands of views. People saying, where is this kid? We want to help him. And I was like, oh my gosh. So one of my daughters like, Mom, make a GoFundMe. And I'm like, can I do that for somebody else? She's like, yeah. So the goal was initially $5,000.
Wow.
And it raised over $235,000.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
So listen, $230,000 is game-changing for anybody.
Yes,
Okay? For me, for you, okay. What do you want to do with that?
Honestly, put inside of a high-end savings, invest in it, and make the money go even more. Potentially start my own business.
You want to start your own business? All right, so one of the things that I know is you wanted to go into automotive technology,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And you were in line to get in, and you probably weren't going to get in, so you might have to take a gap year or something like that.
Yes.
What happened after this story broke and went viral?
So after it went viral, Gwinnett Tech actually invited me for an interview.
Gwinnett Tech, yep.
And they actually got me into the system, getting me registered for my classes that day of the interview. They got me a full tour.
Yeah.
So you are now at Gwinnett Tech studying what?
Automotive technology.
Automotive technology. You have about, it's like a year and a half left.
Yes.
And then what do you want to do when you get out?
Really just work and potentially start my own business.
Build your own business.
Yes.
Build your own business. Maria, what is the takeaway? You know, I told you at the end of every Beg Knows America story, I always ask, my last question to everybody always is, what's the takeaway? What's the takeaway for all of us who watch and feel something for what you did for him?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to make public that Mikhail said I'm going to have a free mechanic for life.
All right.
Yeah. So
That's right. That's right. Good, man. Michael. Good. Good.
Anyway, so the takeaway from this, I think that I learned myself too that night, because I didn't know this was going to blow up like the way it did, is that we need to acknowledge our younger generation and also show them, you know, when they're working hard, to kind of like give them a pat on the back and say, look, you're doing great. Somebody's always watching. I feel so blessed that God used me as his vessel that night to be able to bless him. Yeah. Because come on, who's gonna eat a Whopper after a graduation so important, right? Like, so yeah, so I'm happy for him.
Tell the audience a little bit about what you both have been able to do together since this all went down.
So we have had a lot of opportunities. We have met a lot of amazing people. I never thought like I would be upstage here talking to you. My daughter was able to get a $10,000 scholarship from Burger King. Yeah, she somewhere in the audience, and she's going to GSU for neuroscience, and she's been able to meet. And she's been able to meet doctor, you know, neurologist, neuroscience, thanks to you, you know, that it's been amazing. That's the best thing I could have taken out of this, you know, and I don't know what Mikhail has to say. I think I'm talking too much.
Honestly, I don't know what to say, but just thank you, really. It's really been a good experience. I've met some really nice people, and I don't even know what to say.
Look, celebrating the two of you has been a joy, because when I talk about everyday people doing extraordinary things, that's you. When I talk about everyday people having extraordinary things happen to them and then building on that and being an ambassador for good, that's you.
Yes, sir.
And so John Hope Bryant asking us to be here today to share your story. This is the second time we've done it in front of a crowd,
Yes.
right? We've gotten to know each other. I am so proud of you, and I can't wait to see what you do when you get out into the world with that degree and you build that place and you got business you can't even attend to.
Yes, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before I wrap up, I want to sort of issue a call to action and a challenge to all of you. The way for me and storytellers like me to be able to get to celebrate people like them is that you do two things. You amplify good when you see it and you talk about it, and then you challenge yourself to say, where can I be a Maria? When can I be a Maria? My hope, and to end where I began, I'll never forget Oprah saying that in 1987, a woman in Ann Arbor, Michigan wrote to her and said, Oprah, seeing you be the best of yourself makes me want to be the best of mine. And so having these two on the stage today, our challenge to you is help us do more good like they did. And when I see more good, y'all write to me. I'm pretty easy to find. Dear David at cbsnews.com. I'd love to tell the story. But John, I see you in the front row right here. What you do puts so much good out into the world, and the people you platform does that too. And so thank you for the invitation. And ladies and gentlemen, would you help me one more time celebrate Michael and Marie? Stand up, stand up.